"Stay back," the injured queen pleaded. Her voice shook as the human stepped closer. Captain Erixton's rifle snapped up, its muzzle trained dead center on the human's chest. Mara Kade stepped into the wrecked royal corridor regardless, her boots crunching over twisted metal and shattered crystal panels. Soren Val pressed a gauntleted hand against the gash in her side. Blood welled hot through her armor's seals, soaking the floor in a widening pool. Her vision blurred at the edges. "Stay back," she whispered. The human ignored her. Mara dropped to one knee beside the throne dais, eyes flicking over Soren's wound with clinical focus. "No fear, no hesitation," Erix snarled. "Human, you will halt or die." His finger tightened on the trigger. Two guards flanked him, plasma lances humming to life. Mara didn't flinch. She yanked a field sling from her shoulder pack, drew a vibroknife from her belt, and sliced the fabric into precise strips. "Queen Soren, I'm sealing that bleed. Hold still." Soren's breath hitched. Betrayal lurked in every shadow. Protocol demanded she refuse aid from an off-worlder, especially one her court dismissed as fragile. Humans, soft-skinned, short-lived, unsuited for volley hives. Yet this one moved like she owned the corridor. "Captain Irix." "Stand down." Irix's mandibles clicked in outrage. "Majesty, it's a trap. Warden Keth's extractors swarm the crash site. This pest offers nothing." Dr. Nalise Quor knelt nearby, his multi-limbed scanner whirring futilely over Soren's armor. "The wound penetrates the secondary carapace. Human physiology can't interface." Mara shoved past him. She peeled back Soren's rent armor plate with steady hands, exposing raw flesh and pulsing veins. The queen tensed, every instinct screaming to shove the intruder away. But pain clawed deeper, and distant explosions rocked the hull. Keth's forces breaching outer decks, the human worked fast. She looped a strip around Soren's thigh above the wound, twisting it into a tourniquet with a metal clip from her pack. No fumbling. Then she sprayed a sealant foam from a wrist canister, the compound hardening instantly over the gash. It bonded to Vali chitin like it was made for it. Soren gasped as pressure eased. The bleeding slowed to a trickle. "How?" Mara tied off the last strip. "You're stable for a vac. We move now." Irix lunged forward. He seized Soren's arm, hauling her upright. "Protocol demands the inner sanctum lockdown. Guards, form up." Pain lanced through her side. Soren staggered but waved him off. "Captain." The corridor's bulkhead hissed shut behind Mara, irising to a seamless lock. Irix pounded the panel. "Open it." "That's royal access only." Mara tapped her wristcom. "Authorized crash override from external relay." The human met Soren's gaze. "Your protocols trap you here. Keth's got drones inbound. Scans show 3 minutes to this deck. Inner sanctum's a dead end." Soren's mind raced. Eric's loyalty burned fierce, but his drills choked them in debris. Warden Keth hunted her for the hive's neural crown, alive, to puppet her realm. Trust no one. Yet this human bypassed Vali codes like child locks. "You presume much, Mara Kade. Presume you'll live." Mara slung Soren's good arm over her shoulder, bearing the queen's weight without strain. Humans looked frail. Narrow frames, no natural armor, yet Mara's grip held like powered exoskeletal clamps. "Extraction in 8 minutes. Zervis tunnels lead to my shuttle, Doctor." Neelis scrambled up. "Impossible. Human seals degrade Vali tissue in hours, and your mass, she outweighs you threefold." "Works fine on mixed crews," Mara nodded to him. "Grab your kit, Doc. You'll need it planetside. I lead. You follow, human." He kicked at the locked door, sparks flying. Soren felt the human's steady pulse against her side, calm amid the chaos. No boasts. Just action. Explosions grew louder, vibrations rattling the deck. Keth's hunters closed in. "Captain," Soren said, voice firming. "She leads. Secure our rear." Irix froze, mandibles gaping. "Majesty, now." Soren leaned harder into Mara, testing. The human adjusted without comment, propelling them toward a side grate. Mara pried it open one-handed, revealing a dim maintenance shaft pulsing with emergency strobes. Tight fit. "Queen, brace your wound." "Doc, Irix," single file. They crawled in. Soren's carapace scraped chitin marks into the walls, but Mara navigated turns with precision, calling distances 50 meters to junction, hostiles at Corridor Alpha. Dr. Nellis puffed behind. Your foam? It's cross-species? We calibrated for volley only. Trade secret. Mara's voice echoed ahead. Keeps alliances breathing. Irix grumbled from the rear, lances venting heat. Humans die first in breaches. Why risk this? Soren heard the doubt crack his discipline. She felt it too. Her blood stained the human's suit, yet Mara pressed on, unyielding. A screech pierced the shaft. Drones, Keth's seeker swarm, clattered into the corridor they'd fled. Irix fired back through the grate, blue plasma bolts sizzling. Faster, Mara urged. She boosted Soren through a vent, then hauled Dr. Nellis up like luggage. They spilled into a cargo bay. Wreckage smoldered, hull breaches vented smoke. Mara's shuttle squatted amid debris, ramp open, engines thrumming. Warden Keth's voice boomed from overhead vents. Surrender the Queen, off-worlder. Your species breaks easy. Mara dumped Soren onto a crash couch, strapping her in with quick-release harnesses. 6 minutes. Hold tight. Irix burst in last, slamming the ramp. They're through. 2 extractors on our tail. Doctor, Nellis hooked his scanner to Soren's arm, eyes wide, vitals stabilizing. Human, how did you match our hemostatic index? Mara punched the launch console. The shuttle lurched skyward, inertial dampers whining. Practice. She swiveled to Irix. Your lances interface with my turret? He hesitated, then slotted one in. Affirmative. Soren watched through the viewport as Keth's gunship rose in pursuit, cannons glowing. Mara banked hard, evading fire while Irix manned the gun, Plaza stitching the enemy hull. The human flew like she'd mapped the debris field in her sleep. No wild maneuvers, just efficient dodges. Soren's pain dulled to a throb. Trust seeped in, unbidden, forged in blood and motion. 4 minutes to orbit pickup, Mara said. Reinforcements inbound. Keth's ship closed, missiles streaking. Irix nailed one. Mara rolled under the rest. Dr. Nelis muttered, underestimated. All of us. Soren gripped the armrest. The human had gambled everything on her. No speeches, just competence. A shadow ship dropped from the clouds. Alliance frigate, weapons hot. Keth's craft exploded in a fireball. Mara eased back, clear. Irix lowered his lance, staring at her. You saved us. Soren met Mara's eyes. Why? The human shrugged, checking Soren's tourniquet. Job's not done till you're safe. Alarms blared anew. Sensors pinged. Secondary extractors vectoring from the surface. Mara's hands flew over controls. 2 minutes. Hang on. Next one's trickier. Captain Irix thrust his lance toward the human. Surrender your tools, off-worlder. Royal protocol. Mara Kade didn't flinch. She slapped a decoy kit into his palm. Flashing lights. Dummy injectors. Hold that. Real one's working. Irix stared at the fake mandibles clicking in fury. His guards flanked him, lances humming. Dr. Nellis Kaur knelt by Soren, probing her shattered leg with a dermal regenerator. The Queen bit back a hiss. Shrapnel from the ambush had torn through her throne chamber. Warden Keth's extractors swarmed the crash site now, boots thundering decks away. Soren gripped her armrest fragment. The human moved like liquid purpose. No pause, no plea for trust. Mara swept her handheld scanner down the corridor. Green holomap flickered. Exits, vents, structural weak points. Breach left, 50 meters. Maintenance ducts branch right. Quieter, enemy sweep pattern. Converging here in 90 seconds. Irix snarled, tossing the decoy. You presume to command my Queen's guard? Presume? Mara yanked seat webbing from a buckled bulkhead. She nodded it swift, triple reinforced. Fabric stretched taut under her boot test. Your protocols got us pinned. This gets us out. Guards muttered. One lunged for the webbing. Mara sidestepped, webbing whipping into a sling stretcher. She slid it under Soren's back in one fluid pull. Queen tensed. Betrayal's old scar flared. But the human's grip steadied firm. No crush, just lift. Captain, Soren rasped. Pain blurred her vision, but Mara's eyes locked clear. Practical, unyielding. Irix hesitated, lance dipping a fraction. Dr. Kaur yanked back. Human field treatment risks cascade shock. Your crude bindings. Mara pressed a sensor pad to Soren's thigh. Red-out beam to Kaur's visor. Pulsing blue lines. Circulation steady at 98%. Crude, Queen's vitals hold. Your regenerator singed the artery. Mine sealed it. Quar's frills flushed violet. He scanned himself. Data matched. Impossible. Human tech can't interface our physiology that fast. Calibrated on approach. Mara hefted the stretcher. Soren's weight barely slowed her stride. Move or get trampled. Enemy shouts echoed closer. Keth's hunters. Ruthless, chain-armed. They wanted her alive, for leverage. Irix barked formation. Guards fell in, lances forward. Mara led, stretcher balanced on shoulder like a sack of grain. Soren bounced minimal. Human absorbed the shocks. Corridor twisted. Sparks rained from ceiling breaches. Mara pivoted at the holomap's first mark. Ducts. Silent route. No! Irix grabbed her arm. Exposed flanks. Glass shattered behind. Blaster bolts scorched walls. Keth's vanguard. Mara shrugged Eric's off. Gentle but iron. She kicked a grate. It flew. Silent winds. Guards piled in after. Ducts hummed narrow. Biolume veins pulsing faint light. Mara crawled one-handed. Stretcher angled perfect. Soren's leg throbbed less now. Elevation working. Dr. Quor squeezed beside. How do you map our ship blind? Scanner hacks your net. Standard. Mara paused at a junction. Footsteps boomed overhead. Keth's sweep. She muted her breather. All froze. Soren held breath. Human's arm corded steady under her. No tremor. Compassion? No word of it, just the hall. Footsteps faded. Mara exhaled. Clear. 20 meters to shuttle bay. Irix hissed ahead. Human strength defies scans. Augmented? Practice. Mara pushed on. Duct spat them into a service alcove. Shuttle bay loomed. Hull breached, their escape craft intact amid wreckage. Guards burst out, lances blazing. 2 extractors dropped, smoking. Keth's voice boomed from comms. Surrender the Queen, interlopers. My chains await. Mara shouldered through bay doors. Irix, lances to turret slot. Quor, strap in. Guards argued protocols again. Evac hierarchy, Queen's throne first. Mara ignored. She dumped the stretcher aboard, gentle, buckled Soren secure. Console's mine. Irix leveled lance. Last warning. Soren raised hand. Stand down, Captain. Voice cut steel. The human had mapped hell and carried her through. Betrayal's lessons screamed caution, but action spoke louder. She commands. Irix slotted his lance. Mara punched launch. Shuttle lurched skyward, inertial dampers whining. Practice. She swiveled to Irix. Your lance's interface with my turret? He hesitated, then slotted one in. Affirmative. Soren watched through viewport. Keth's gunship rose in pursuit, cannons glowing. Mara banked hard, evading fire. Irix manned the gun, plasma stitching enemy hull. Human flew like she'd mapped the debris field in her sleep. Efficient dodges. Pain dulled to throb. Trust seeped, forged in ducts and webbing. 4 minutes to orbit pickup, Mara said. Reinforcements inbound. Keth closed, missiles streaking. Irix nailed one. Mara rolled under rest. Dr. Nellis muttered. Underestimated, all of us. Soren gripped armrest. Human gambled everything. Confidence, not speeches. Alliance frigate dropped from clouds, weapons hot. Keth exploded in fireball. Mara eased back. Clear. Irix lowered lance, staring. You saved us. Soren met Mara's eyes. Why? Human shrugged, checked tourniquet. Job's not done till you're safe. Alarms blared. Sensors pinged. Secondary extractors from surface. Mara's hands flew. 2 minutes. Hang on. Next one's trickier. Soren's frills twitched. Trust held, but pressure mounted. Keth was one hunter. These were legions. Shuttle shuddered. Incoming fire grazed shields. Mara jinked into debris cloud. Masking signature. Irix manned turret again. Targets. 3 skiffs. Vectoring fast. Link fire control. Mara patched his display. Plasma lanced out. Skiff 1 vented atmosphere. Dr. Quor monitored Soren's leg. Circulation perfect. Human sealant integrates. Soren nodded faint. Mara's crude work outpaced palace medics. Second skiff dove. Mara barrel rolled, exposing belly guns. Irix shredded it. Pick up in 60, Mara called. Frigate's tractor inbound. Third skiff latched, boarding pods deploying. Irix cursed. Boarders! Mara slapped manual override. Quor, seal med bay. Irix, cover hatch, shuttle bucked, pods blew inner seals. Extractors poured in, chain whips cracking. Guards met them lance to claw. Irix dueled 2, plasma coring 1. Mara unstrapped, grabbed utility blade. Stretcher rig, improv shield. She tore fresh webbing, layered over arm, charged into fray. Soren strained to see. Human parried chain with webbing, held. Blade sliced throat. Extractor gurgled down. Irix gaped mid-fight. Mara flanked him, downed his foe. Clear hatch, she said. Flat. Tractor beam locked. Shuttle yanked toward frigate. Pods detached, tumbling. Last extractor fled. Bay doors cycled. Marines swarmed aboard. Alliance crested. Mara waved them off. Queen secure. Med evac priority. Soren exhaled. Pressure eased. Human wiped blade. Checked her again. Captain Irix knelt. I misjudged. Your protocols, superior. Mara shrugged. Ours adapt.
Frigate accelerated to jump. Sensors cleared.
But deep scan pinged. Keth's shadow network. One survivor pod. Signaling. Dr. Quor frowned. They never quit. Soren locked eyes with Mara. You will? Human smiled faint. Not till safe. Jump drive hummed. Stars streaked. Trust solidified. Not in words, but in the haul through ducts. The dodge through fire. Human compassion. Quiet, competent steel. Alarms flickered once more. Frigate comms crackled. Ambush vector. All ships. Mara's hand hovered controls. Next, pressure brewed. Something slammed the hatch. Queen Serinval jerked against her makeshift stretcher. The frigate's ducts shuddered under the blow. Alarms wailed beyond the thin nettle. Mara Kade spun from the oxygen line she was securing. She slapped the inner latch shut. Impacts rattled the frame. Claws scraping, plasma scorching. Mara braced her back against it. Her boots dug into the grating. She held. Soren's breath caught. The human's arms corded with strain. No cry, no retreat. Captain Irix Tawn leveled his lance through the grill. Filth. Die. Plasma bolt lanced out. It grazed the hatch edge. Mara's hand shot up. She gripped Irix's barrel, redirected the shot downward. Oxygen line. One spark. We choke. Irix snarled. His mandibles clicked in fury, but he yanked back. Another slam buckled the hatch inward 1/2 centimeter. Soren's wound throbbed in rhythm. Extractors. Warden Keth's hunters. They had breached the frigate's hull during the ambush jump. Dr. Nellis Quor crouched by Soren, injecting stabilizer. Hold still, Majesty. Human strength. Unexpected. Their muscle density. Save it. Mara cut in. She scanned the duct junction. Pursuer shadows flickered through the grill. Flare pack. Bait them. She yanked a chem pack from her harness, lit it with a thumb strike, tossed it down the left fork, opposite their path. The pack burst in red glare. Shouts echoed. Claws scrabbled toward the light. Mara shoved off the hatch. Move. Vertical shaft ahead. Irix scooped Soren's stretcher. Grunting, he hauled it forward. Quor followed. Med scanner beeping. Soren gripped the webbing straps. Pain lanced her side. Betrayal's old lesson screamed. Strangers kill queens. This human. She saved the shuttle. Fought like a demon. Still, the duct narrowed. Soren's vision blurred. She twisted free of the stretcher, clawed at the grating, crawled toward a side vent, away from the human. Majesty, Quor lunged. Mara dropped beside her. One hand pinned Soren's shoulder. Gentle, unyielding. Fabric pressed her wound shut. No tear reopened. Stay down, Mara said, flat. Eyes locked on Soren's. You're bleeding out. Soren froze. The human's palm warmed through her scales. No blade. No chokehold. Just pressure. Saving pressure. Trust from a soft-skinned outsider? Eric's whirled. Lance raised. Human. Release her. Mara didn't flinch. Dragging her. Help or hinder. She hooked arms under Soren's torso. Lifted. Soren gasped. Human grip like alloy cables. Effortless. Irix hesitated. Mandibles twitched. then slung the stretcher ahead, cleared the path. Vertical shaft loomed, a sheer drop, ladder rungs slick with coolant. Core strapped in first, descended with mag boots. Irix locked his lance to his harness, gripped the ladder. Lowered Soren's stretcher one-handed. Mara took rear guard. Shoved Soren onto Irix's back. Secure her! Oots scraped above. Hatch breached. Extractors poured in. Soren clung to Irix's carapace. Glanced up. Mara dropped last. She wedged a strut across the shaft mouth, jammed it tight. A chain whip cracked down, snagged the strut. Yanked. Mara drew her utility blade. Slashed the chain mid-air. Sparks flew. Whip recoiled. Extractor roared. Leaned in. Fired plasma. Mara kicked a loose panel. It slammed the shooter's helm. Body tumbled past, brushing Soren's scales on the way down. Soren's hearts pounded. Human reflexes. Beyond protocol. Beyond guard training. They descended. Ducts twisted into the frigate's underbelly. Emergency lights pulsed red. Core scanned ahead. Life support nexus. Breach there. Keth's pod docked.
Irix growled. We hold the line.
Majesty, my lance. No, Mara said. She tapped her wristcom, engineering override. Sealing bulkheads. Bulkheads groaned shut behind them. Vibrations cut off. Soren stared. Human tech sync, seamless with Val systems. How? Warden Keth's voice crackled through the walls. Amplified. Queen Soren, surrender. Your guards fail. Alliance scatters. Irix fired up the shaft. Missed. Mara pulled a breaching charge. Stuck it to a side grate. Wrong junction, Keth. Chase ghosts. Detonation rocked the shaft. False path collapsed. Screams echoed. Core blinked at his scanner. Human adhesives. Phase shift. They'd bond mid-fall. Standard kit, Mara said. She checked Soren's wound. Packed fresh gel. Pressure holding? Soren nodded once. Stiff. The human's touch steadied her. No demands. No boasts. They hit bottom. A maintenance bay. Sparks flew from cut conduits. Escape pod hatch glowed green. Keth burst through a side panel. Tall, scarred. Chain whip coiled. 2 extractors flanked him. Irix charged. Lance thrust. Keth parried. Whip cracked Irix's arm guard. Drew Icor. Core fired his sidearm. Bolt scorched Keth's pauldron. Mara shoved Soren behind crates. Drew her blade. Pod prepped. Go. Soren gripped a stanchion. Stood. No. Fight with you. Mara glanced back. Nodded. Handed her a shock prod. Flank left. Soren activated it. Blue arcs danced. She lunged. Prod sank into an extractor's flank. It spasmed. Dropped. Keth whirled. The queen fights? Desperate. Mara rolled under his whip. Blade nicked his knee joint. He staggered. Irix rallied. Lance pierced the second extractor. Core patched Irix's wound. Human tactics. Improvise. Our med gel reacts with their blood. Accelerates clotting. Keth swung wide. Whip lashed at Mara. She caught it on her webbing shield. Shuttle remnants. Yanked. Pulled him off balance. Soren drove the prod into his back. Arcs surged. Keth convulsed. Dropped. Mara zip-tied his wrists. Dragged him to a vent. Shoved him in. Sealed it. Pod hatch hissed open. Thrusters warmed. Irix knelt to Soren. Majesty. You trusted the human. Soren met Mara's eyes. The human wiped blade clean. Offered a hand up. Soren took it. Pulled herself aboard. She earned it. Pod sealed. Launched. Frigate alarms faded. Stars wheeled, but sensors pinged. Keth's frigate shadowed. Boarding tubes extended. Mara strapped in. Next duct run. Hold tight. Soren exhaled. Human steel. Her shield now. Pod bucked. Tubes clamped. Breach imminent. Sparks erupted from the pod's hull. The boarding tube clamped tight. Metal groaned under enemy grapples. Mara unbuckled Soren's harness, yanked her upright. Alcove. Now. She dragged the queen past Irix and Quor, shoved her into the narrow machinery space behind thruster controls. Bulkhead panels hummed, hot from overload. Soren's wounded leg buckled. Pain lanced up her spine. She clutched Mara's arm. The human's grip steadied her. No shove. No command. Just support. Mara knelt. pulled a sedative injector from her vest. Blue fluid gleamed inside. Sedation. Microdose. Keeps you still for breach. Clear, yes, or I stop. Irix lunged forward.
Human.
You do not. Surin raised a hand, silenced him. The human waited, eyes locked on hers. No presumption, no royal deference. Just the question. Her guards froze. Irix's mandibles clicked open. Kor's scanner paused mid-sweep. Soren gripped Mara's wrist, skin to scale. Warmth against chill. One sharp nod. Mara pressed the injector to Sorian's neck. Hiss. Cool rush spread. Breathe with me. In, hold, out. She timed it. Steady counts. One hand on Soren's shoulder, the other monitored pulse. Kor crowded in. Scanner beeped. Vitals dropping too slow. Human dose. Your chemistry. Works fine. Mara didn't look up. Watch the queen. Not me. Soren's vision blurred. Limbs grew heavy, but pain ebbed. She breathed, matched the human's rhythm. Trust sparked in that sync. Mara moved like she'd extracted royalty a dozen times. Routine, not spectacle. Irix shouldered past Kor, grabbed Mara's collar. You touched her without clearance. Protocol demands. Mara twisted free. Smooth. Held up the injector. Logs stamped, time-stamped. Her nods on my helmet cam. She tapped her visor. Data log projected. Soren's face. The nod. Clear as crystal. Irix recoiled, stared at the projection, then at Soren. Majesty? Soren forced words through fog. She asked. I chose. Kor scanned the log. Human consent protocols? Embedded in their tech? His voice cracked. Our med scanners don't log intent. Pod shuddered. Enemy torches burned through the hull. Orange glow seeped. Air hissed out. Mara shoved past Irix, dropped to the deck. Ripped open a scorched panel, exposed fried comm relay. Wires sparked, components blackened. Relays toast. No beacon. She yanked burnt circuits, pocketed spares. From her vest, jury-rigged splicer, human tool, thin as a claw, glowed blue. Sorin watched from the alcove. Sedation pinned her body. Mind raced. Keth's frigate loomed outside. Warden's hunters breached in seconds. Her guards readied lances. Irix barked orders. Kor prepped stim packs. Mara worked faster. Stripped insulation with teeth. Twisted wires. Sparks flew. She cursed softly. Human words. Sharp. Ping rescue. Mara soldered a patch. Relay flickered. Queen's code. Override all channels. Kor leaned in. Impossible. Relays quantum locked. Needs palace keys. Mara slotted Soren's identity crystal from the Queen's diadem. Pulled it earlier, unnoticed. Crystal clicked home. Relay word pinged out. Frigate-wide alert blared. Royal code verified. Imperial reinforcements dispatched. Irix whirled. How? That's classified freak hull breached. Torch cut complete. Smoke billowed. 3 extractors rappelled in. Warden Keth last. Whip coiled. Grill shot ready. Keth grinned. Fangs gleamed. Pods locked. No escape. Mara sealed the alcove panel. Shoved Soren deeper. Stay down. Grabbed her shock blade. Rolled out. Irix charged. Lance thrust. First extractor parried. Sparks flew. Kor fired medgel darts. Second extractor dodged. Returned fire. Gel splashed bulkhead. Froze metal solid. Soren gripped the alcove edge. Sedation fought her. She strained. Watched Mara. Human flanked right. Blade sliced low. Nicked extractor's leg joint. It buckled. Mara zip-tied its ankles. Hog-tied in seconds. Keth lashed whip. Barbs whistled. Mara dove. Whip tangled Irix's lance. Yanked him off balance. Captain. Kor patched Irix's arm. Gel mixed with human blood from earlier cut. Clot formed instant. Your wound sealed? Human residue? Irix roared. Reed lance. Pierced the tangled extractor. Mara vaulted a console. Dropped behind Keth. Blade pressed his neck. Drop it, Keth laughed. Elbowed back. Mara absorbed it. Webbing vest cushioned. She hooked his whip arm. Twisted. Disarmed. Soren's heart pounded. Sedation faded fast. Human microdose. Precise. She pushed up. Leg throbbed less, grabbed the shock prod Mara left. Pod rocked. Enemy frigate fired grapples. More tubes extended. Keth kneed Mara. Broke free. Grill shot charged. Aimed at alcove. Soren lunged. Prode arced blue, sank into Keth's side. He spasmed. Shot wild. Blast scorched ceiling. Mara finished him. Blade to hamstring. Zip tie. Dragged to airlock. Bented him into space. No ceremony. Alarms escalated. Imperial Fleet ETA. 2 minutes. Irix knelt by Soren. Majesty? The pod. Human's plan. Soren stood. Leaned on Mara. Relay worked. Mara patched hull breach. Foam sealed it. Temporary. Ducts next. Bypass to Frigate Bay. Core scanned Soren. Wound stable. Human sedative metabolized in halftime. Your medtech can't match. Irix gripped his lance. Eyed Mara. You fight like us, but ask permission? Mara shrugged. Checked pod schematics on her visor. Standard op? No surprises. Soren met Irix's gaze. She sees me, not the crown. Pod lurched. Enemy boarders hammered outer hull. Fresh torches glowed. Mara pointed to vent grate. Duct crawl. Queen first. Irix, cover rear. Irix hesitated, then nodded. Lead human. Serene crawled in. Mara boosted her. Cool metal soothed scales. Duct, narrowed. Human behind, breathing steady. Ping. Mara's comm crackled. Rescue inbound, but Keth's backup. 6 hunters inbound. Serene gripped a strut. Human voice ahead? No. Mara's relay echoed. Behind, Irix muttered. Trust her now. Duct shook. Hammers pounded. Breach 2. Mara sliced grate ahead. Emerged into frigate maintenance bay. Empty, for now. Soren dropped out. Mara caught her. Set her down gentle. Core emerged next. Bay secure. Sensors blind. Mara hotwired a cargo hauler. Blind to them. Not us. Engine hummed. Irix last. Sealed duct. Hunters vectoring. 30 seconds. Cargo hauler roared. Mara floored it. Bay doors irised open. To vacuum? No. Linked to main frigate spine. Spine corridor ahead. Patrols swarmed. Soren strapped in. Mara handed her a pistol. Human make. Point and shoot. Extractors charged. Blasters flared. Mara swerved. Hauler. Rammed barricade. Guards scattered. Irix fired lance from turret. Pierced one. Core darted gel. Froze another's feet. Soren aimed. Pistol barked. Hunter dropped. Recoil bit her palm. Effective. Mara laughed. Short. Good shot. Corridor end. Shuttle bay. Imperial codes flashed on walls. Relay worked, but doors locked. Warden's override. Hunters closed. Grill shots peppered hauler. Mara jumped out. Blade ready.
Cover me!
Soren fired. Covered. Mara sliced panel. Rewired. Doors groaned open. Shuttle ramp dropped. Pilot waved. Queen aboard. They piled in. Mara, last, strapped Soren secure. Drones swarmed the shuttle bay mouth. Red lights strobed. Orden Keth's voice boomed from hidden speakers. Queen Soren Vol. Surrender now. Your guards die first. Soren clutched the shuttle ramp edge. Pain throbbed in her side. The wound wept gel under Core's hasty patch. Irix snarled beside her, lance raised. His squad fanned out, blasters hot. Mara crouched low, eyes on the hull beyond the drones. Cool as frigate ice. Protocol demands assault. Advance. Mara's gloved hand shot out, grabbed his arm, pulled hard. Killbox. Drones vector fire. You funnel in, they shred. Irix twisted free. Human tactics? We hold the line. Soren watched Mara. No panic. Just scan. Spot. Decide. The human yanked a coolant cylinder from a wall rack. Heavy. Frost rimmed its side. Mara thumbed the seal, rolled it hard into the hull. Cylinder bounced. Hissed. White fog exploded. Sensors whited out. Drones stuttered. Blind. Keth's voice cut sharp. Flush them. Eat track. Smoke billowed thick. Irix lunged anyway. For the Queen! His squad charged into the murk. No! Soren rasped, but Mara moved faster. tackled Irix mid-stride. Human strength pinned the captain down. Squad halted, coughing. "Listen," Mara said flat, "or die stupid." Irix bucked, froze. Drones fired blind bursts. Bolts scorched walls. One clipped a guard's leg. He screamed. Core knelt by Soren. "Your vitals drop. We need evac." Through that, Soren nodded at the smoke-choked hall. Pride burned. She ruled worlds, not skulk like vermin. Mara hauled Irix up. "Stay. Cover rear. To Soren. Hand here." Extended palm. Soren hesitated. Trained eyes saw betrayal in every shadow. Humans? Unproven. Wild. But her guards bled. Mara waited. Steady. Soren took the hand. Cool through glove. Mara pulled her into smoke. World went gray. Touch guided. Mara's fingers firm on Soren's elbow. Breathe slow. In. Out. Lungs clear. Chill bit deep. Soren's breath fogged her visor. Footsteps ghosted. Core followed close. Scanner beeping soft. Irix grumbled behind. Squad limping. Keth's hunters pushed. Boots thudded. Heat sigs. Royal armor cluster. 50 meters. Soren tensed. Exposed. Royal plate glowed hot on scans. Betrayal waited. Mara tapped her chest panel. Click. Suit heater died. Human body temp plunged. Invisible. Quiet. Mara whispered. Let on. Soren leaned heavier. Leg buckled. Mara caught. Hoisted. Dragged now. Arm over shoulder. No grunt. No complaint. Routine. Smoke thinned ahead. Grate loomed. Mara sliced it open. Pushed Soren through. Crawl. Tight. Soren dropped to knees. Pain lanced. Clawed forward. Mara behind. Shielding. Core squeezed next. Human physiology? Cold-blooded now? Impossible. Adapt, Mara said. Sealed grate. Squad piled in. Irix last. They'll breach. Duct hummed with their breaths. Keth's voice echoed faint. Scan deeper. She's armored. Find her. Soren crawled. Mara's hand pressed her back. Steady pressure. Almost. Vent ahead. They spilled into a dim subdeck. Pipes hissed steam. Mara scanned walls. Hot-wired a panel. Lights flickered green. Service lift. Down to hull breach. Irix checked his wounded. Too lamed. We fight crippled. Mara eyed Soren's side. Core. Patch her mid-move. Core knelt. Injected stabilizer. Human. Your cold trick. How? Our suits can't. Mara shrugged. Strapped Soren to a cargo sled. Turn it off. Biology does rest. Pushed sled rolling. Smooth. Sled hummed down corridor. Alarms wailed distant. Keth closed. Drones buzzed overhead vents. Soren gripped sled edge. Mara's face close. Sweat beaded human brow. No speeches. Just push. Protect. Why? Soren murmured. Voice raw. Mara met eyes. Job. Irix snorted. Jobs don't drag queens through filth. Results do. Mara halted. Listened. Footfalls neared. Hunters flanked. Blasters whined. Mara shoved sled into shadow. Drew blade. Irix. Flank left. Core. Gel the floor. Captain nodded. No argument. Squad. Split. Gel splattered. Hunter. Slipped. Crashed. Irix lanced him silent. Mara darted. Blade flashed. Second hunter down. Throat cut clean. Soren raised pistol. Fired. Third dropped. Recoil familiar now. Keth's roar echoed. Alive. I need her alive. More boots. Mara yanked sled. Ran. Soren bounced. Pain blurred. Trust anchored. This human moved like she owned the ship. Lift doors groaned open. They piled in. Mara punched hull level. Doors shut. Descent hummed. Core sealed Soren's wound fresh. Stabilizing. Human cold saved us. Scanners missed mass. Irix holstered lance. Stared at Mara. You pulled me from death. Again. Mara checked pistol charge. Team. Lift jolted. Doors opened to chaos. Hull breach gaped. Vacuum sucked debris. Emergency seals flickered. Escape pods lined wall. But Keth's extractors swarmed the gap. Drones pinned them. Pods hot-wired. Mara said. Core. Soren first. Soren stood shaky. No, you lead. Mara boosted her in. Strapped tight. Core next. Irix waved squad. Cover fire. Pods hissed launch, but Keth dropped from ceiling vent. Tall. Scaled. Claws gleamed.
Queen!
Blasters traded. Irix charged. Mara flanked. Blade met claw. Sparks flew. Soren watched from pod viewport. Mara ducked. Slashed low. Keth howled. Leg buckled. Irix pierced shoulder. Keth retreated, bleeding, pods detached. Freefall to black. Soren breathed deep, wound dulled. Trust sealed in smoke and blood, but scanners pinged. Keth's ship loomed, pods too slow. Mara's voice crackled relay. Hold, frigate inbound, ours. Imperial codes flashed, reinforcements burned in. Keth's hunters scattered, pod docked hard. Med Bay arms grabbed Soren, core rushed her out. Mara emerged last, nodded once. Job done. Irix clasped Mara's arm. Captain cated, honored. Soren extended hand. Mara took it. Warm now. Heater back on. Debt paid, Soren said. Mara smiled faint. No debt. Alarms cleared. Frigate jumped. But in the bay, Keth's drone wreckage smoked. One intact, scanning. It swept the duct they fled. Royal armor heat, gone cold. Missed the human trace, dragging Queen through dark. Keth would hunt again. Mara knew, already planning. Breaching charges thumped through the hull. Queen Soren Val gripped her wound. Blood seeping between scaled fingers. Captain Irix barked orders to his squad. Form up. Hold the corridor. The extraction hatch loomed ahead, scarred and silent. Mara Cade, the human rescue specialist, dropped her pack and scanned it. Her eyes narrowed. Welded shut. Enemy work. She pulled the plasma saw from her belt. The blade ignited with a high-pitched whine. Sparks erupted as she drove it into the seam. Irix whirled. Human, what are you— Stop! Protocol demands we blast through the main bay. Mara didn't pause. Metal glowed orange under the cut. Too slow. They'll flank us. Soren's breath rasped behind her breached mask. Toxins from the crash fogged her vision. Dr. Nellis Quor knelt beside her, injecting stabilizers. Majesty. The seals failed, airborne irritants rising. Soren waved him off. She fixed on the human. This off-worlder ignored rank, ignored protocol, just cut. Deeper now. Molten slag dripped. Irix shoved forward, blaster raised. Stand down, alien. My squad clears the path. Mara glanced back once. Calm. Their squad's down too. Save ammo. The saw chewed through a foot of alloy. Core hissed. Toxin levels critical, Majesty. Mask integrity 0. He fumbled with a patch kit, hands shaking. Soren coughed, lungs burned. Her guards shifted, eyes darting between the human and the corridor shadows. Mara killed the saw mid-cut. Spun to Soren, ripped a tube from her pack. Emergency adhesive. She yanked Soren's mask loose, sprayed the rim, slammed it back. Seal hissed tight, Quor gaped. Human physiology can't handle. Works for her. Mara nodded at Soren. Breathe. Soren inhaled. Clean air flooded in. No burn. The human had matched alien seal specs. On instinct. Irix snarled. Distraction. More charges. Closer. Thuds echoed. 30 meters out. Mara dropped to the hatch panel. Pried it open. Wires sparked. She yanked a bundle. Spliced with a tool from her wrist. Power rerouted. Lights flickered. Alarms blared down the corridor. False hatch breach. Opposite end. Enemy shouts filtered through vents. Irix froze. You diverted their focus? Buy time. Mara reignited the saw. Finished the cut. Hatch buckled. Smoke billowed. Soren staggered up. Legs weak from blood loss. Guards hauled her toward the gap. Through! Mara kicked the hatch free. Jagged openings smoked. Irix pushed ahead. Squad first. Protect the Queen. Mara blocked him. Grabbed Soren's waist. Lifted her one-handed. Scaled royal armor weighed double a human's max lift. Soren gasped as Mara hoisted her level with the hole. Shoved her through to the shuttle bay beyond. Soren landed hard on grated deck. Rolled. Stared back. The human had hefted her like cargo. No strain, no brace. Guards tumbled after. Quor last. Erix lingered. Blaster trained on the corridor. Footsteps pounded. Heavy, scaled claws scraped. Warden Keth burst into view. Towering hunter. Enemy extractor. Claws extended. Stun field crackling. Queen! Alive for the bounty. Blasters cracked. Irix fired. Squad laid cover. Mara vaulted back. Pulled a single stun baton. Lit blue. No armor. No ranged weapon. Just the stick. Human, fall back, Erix roared. She planted feet. Get her to pods. Go, Keth lunged. Claws slashed air. Mara sidestepped. Baton cracked his knee. Hunter staggered. Soren pushed up from the bay deck, watched through the hatch. This stranger held the line alone, against a warden elite. Guards dragged her away. Majesty, move! Irix fired past Mara. Bolts scorched walls. Keth roared, charged again. Mara ducked claws. Thrust baton into his flank. Electricity arced. He spasmed. But more hunters piled in. Blaster fire intensified. Mara backed step by step. Baton whirled. Parried a claw strike. Sparks flew. Soren's guard yanked her toward the pods. She resisted. The human, protocol, Majesty. Quor pulled her along. Shuttle bay doors hissed ahead. Pods lined the wall. Emergency evac. Mara had scouted them earlier. Soren recalled. Human insisted on overrides. Blaster whine pierced the hatch gap. Mara shouted, Pods prepped. Launch sequence. Erix broke cover. Fired full auto. Human, with us. Keth slashed. Mara twisted. Baton met claw. She held. Pushed him back a meter. Soren reached the first pod. Climbed in shaky. Straps auto-locked. Viewport framed the fight. Quor piled in beside her. Guards crammed the second pod. Erix sprinted back. Mara covered. Last one through the gap. She dove after, baton still humming. Keth howled. Leapt the hatch. Claws scraped bay deck. Pods sealed. Mara hot-wired the launch panel. Quor Soren first. Soren gripped the armrest. No, you lead. Mara met her eyes. Boosted her pod's throttle anyway. Hiss. Launch. Soren's pod detached. Free fall into void. She twisted for viewport view. Mara flanked Keth. Blade met claw. Wait. Baton sparked. Irix pierced from side. Keth buckled. Retreated bleeding. Pods streaked away, but scanners pinged. Keth's ship loomed. Soren breathed deep. Wound dulled by Quor's meds. The human's adhesive held. Trust sealed in sparks and blood. Mara's voice crackled over relay. Ult. Frigate inbound. Hours. Imperial codes flashed. Reinforcements burned in hot. Keth's hunters scattered. Pod docked hard. Med-arms grabbed Soren. Quor rushed her to bay. Mara emerged last. Nodded once. Job done. Erix clasped her arm. Captain Cade. Honored. Soren extended hand. Mara took it. Grip firm. Warm. Debt paid, Soren said. Mara smiled faint. No debt. Frigate jumped to hyperspace. Alarms cleared. But in the bay, Keth's drone wreckage smoked, one intact. It scanned ducts, missed the human trace. Dragging Queen through dark earlier. Keth would hunt again. Soren watched Mara check her baton, already planning counters. The human's calm never broke. Hours later in medbay, Quor scanned Soren's wound. Human adhesive saved her lungs. Their bioseals adapt faster than ours. Impossible. Irix stood guard. She held with a baton. Against Keth. Soren flexed her hand, remembered the lift. The reroute, the stand. Trust wasn't given. Earned in metal and fire. Frigate sensors pinged. Shadow on tail. Keth's signature. Mara entered. Pack slung. Wardens closing. New hatch plan? Soren nodded. Lead. Irix straightened. No argument. Quor prepped kits. Human specs now. Mara knelt by console. Plasma saw ready. Cut began. Keth's breachers thumped, distant, seconds away. But the human cut anyway. Irix's claws clamped Mara's bicep. He yanked her through the smoke-choked corridor. Blaster fire scorched the bulkhead inches behind. Move, human! His voice cracked over the whine of incoming rounds. Mara twisted free mid-stride. She fired her baton one-handed. The stun pulse dropped a hunter mid-leap. Keth's extractor team swarmed the crash site. Protocol be damned. Irix had disembarked against shuttle lockdown. She sprinted beside him. Bay doors loomed ahead, half open under emergency power. Core waved from inside, medkit strapped to his back. Soren's pod lay secured in the hold, the Queen still under. A breacher drone buzzed overhead. Mara slapped a disruptor patch on its flank. It spiraled into the deck with a spark. Irix shoved her through the hatch. "Seal it!" Mara hit the override. Doors ground shut. Enemy shadows flickered in the viewport. Keth's hunters piling on. She punched the hard seal sequence. Hydraulic rams slammed home. Alarms blared as the shuttle's engines spooled. "Launch in 10. The pilot barked from the cockpit. "Strap in or die." Vibration rattled the deck. Mara braced against the console. Irix loomed over her. Mandibles flared. "You were ordered to the pod, not to play hero." She ignored him, routed power to the aft shields. Keth's team hammered the doors, thuds echoing like war drums. 8 seconds. Pilot's voice tightened. Mara locked the final seal. Red lights flipped green. The shuttle lurched skyward. G-forces pinned them. Through the viewport, the crash site shrank. Keth's silhouette stood tall amid the flames, fist raised. Inertia eased. Mara unstrapped first. She checked the pod readouts. Soren's vitals spiked, waking. Irix rounded on her. "You endangered the Queen." "Humans don't." The pod hissed open. Queen Soren Vol sat up, iridescent scales dulled by blood. Her compound eyes fixed on Mara. "Captain Irix." "Cease." Irix froze. Mandibles clicked shut. Soren swung her legs over the edge. Core rushed forward, scanner humming. "Majesty, your wound? Later." Soren's gaze never left Mara. She extended a clawed hand. "Report." Mara pulled the datapad from her vest. Keth's route logs glowed on the screen, intercepted from the drone wreckage. "Warden's path to the secondary extractor. Jump coordinates here. He'll flank your frigate relay in 40 minutes. Soren snatched the pad, scanned the data. Her crest flared, shock rippling her frills. "How?" "His encryption." "Standard overlay." Mara shrugged, cracked it en route. "No credit needed. Just use it." Irix stepped forward. "She dragged you through vents, Majesty. Against my orders." "Unvetted." Soren rose, towered over them both, even wounded. She grasped Mara's forearm in full view of the crew, claws gentle, grip iron. Mara cade.
"For the duration of this crisis, you are my named protector. Imperial decree."
Silence hit the bay. Core fumbled his scanner. Irix's spine stiffened. Mara met the Queen's eyes, nodded once. The shuttle bucked, sensors pinged, pursued drones on tail. Soren released her arm, turned to Irix. "Dock protocols. Relay the logs to the frigate. Human leads breach defense." Irix saluted, jaw tight. He barked orders to the pilot. Mara moved to the aft station, pulled up schematics. Keth's signature closed fast. 3 drones, armed. Core sidled up. "Your adhesive on her lung seal. It bonded mid-flight." "Our tech takes hours. Field expedient." Mara traced hull weak points. "Patch these vents. They'll vent Atmo if he boards." Soren watched from the pod edge, flexed her wounded side. No flinch. The human's calm seeped in. Steady hands on controls. No boasts. Drones thumped the hull. Shuttle shuddered. "Pilot, evasive." Irix gripped a strut. Mara slapped charges on the inner hatch. "Not evasive. Counter." She triggered them. Outer hull vented drones into vacuum. 2 crumpled. The 3rd latched. Alarms wailed. "Breach. Imminent." Soren stood. "Cade." Handled. Mara grabbed her baton, slid into the access tube. The drone's cutter whirred outside. Core gaped. "She'll suffocate the intruder?" Irix snarled. "Foolish. Our guards." Soren silenced him with a raised claw. Listened to the tube. Muffled sparks. A crunch. A silence. Mara emerged, baton smoking. "Clear." Crew stared. Core's scanner beeped. Hull integrity green. Soren's frills smoothed. Trust solidified in that beat. Not words. Action. Frigate loomed on scopes. Docking clamps engaged. Hard. Imperial codes flashed across consoles. Reinforcements inbound. Keth's hunters scattered below. Med arms extended from the frigate bay. Grabbed Soren's pod. Pulled her aboard. Kor rushed her to med bay proper. Mara emerged last from the shuttle. Nodded once to the deck crew. Job done. Irix clasped her arm. Rough but firm. Captain Cade. Honored.
Soren extended her hand from the med sled.
Mara took it. Grip firm. Warm. Debt paid, Soren said. Mara smiled faint. No debt. Frigate jumped to hyperspace. Alarms cleared. In the bay, Keth's drone wreckage smoked, one intact. It scanned ducts, missed the faint human trace, dragged Queen through dark earlier. Keth would hunt again. Soren watched Mara check her baton, already planning counters. The human's calm never broke. Hours later, med bay hummed. Kor scanned Soren's wound. Human adhesive saved your lungs. Their bioseals adapt faster than ours. Impossible. Irix stood guard at the door. She held with a baton, against Keth. Soren flexed her hand. Remembered the lift reroute. The stand-in fire. Trust wasn't given. Earned in metal. Frigate sensors pinged. Shadow on tail. Keth's signature. Mara entered, pack slung over shoulder. Baton holstered, wardens closing. New hatch plan? Soren nodded, rose from the sled. Lead. Irix straightened. No argument this time. Kor prepped kits, to human specs now. Mara knelt by the emergency console. Plasma saw ready in hand. She ignited the blade. Cut began. Keth's breachers thumped distant hull plates. Seconds away. Mara cut anyway. Sparks flew. New hatch forming. Soren gripped the sled edge. Watched the human work. Precise. Unhurried. Irix positioned guards. Kor sealed his suit. Thumps grew louder. Breacher whine pierced armor. Mara finished the cut. Kicked the panel free. Through here. Ventral ducts to engine bay. Ambush point. Soren moved first. Slid into the dark. Mara last. Saw in one hand, baton in other. Ducts echoed with their scramble. Keth's team breached main hold. Blasters chattering. Irix covered rear. They'll flood compartments. Counted on it. Mara sealed the duct behind. Flood doors slammed distant. Trapped the hunters. They emerged in engine bay. Shadows cloaked the hum of reactors. Soren crouched behind a coolant manifold. Position, Mara pointed. Guards there. Quor, med station here. Irix, with me on the hatch. Enemy boots thudded closer. Keth's voice barked through comms, ruthless, probing. Irix raised his rifle. Human plan, again. Mara nodded, waited. Hatch cycled. First hunter poked in. She Baden stunned him, dragged him aside. Second followed. Down. Keth himself third. Towering. Scarred. Blaster swept the bay. Mara rolled. Fired disruptor. His weapon fizzled. He lunged. Claws raked air. Irix fired. Grazed him. Keth pivoted. Smashed Irix's rifle. Mara closed. Baton cracked his knee. He roared. Swift.